49ers to win and plugs the Celtics every single week, bro.
To Jason Tatum, you know.
Hey yo, what's good, Phin Nation? Welcome to the #1 show for the Miami Dolphins here at FIU. Phin Tank, it's your boy Sewan, Big Guapo Rodriguez.
I'm Alfredo, the leader of Two and On.
And it's your boy Ant the Truth.
And what can we say? We're back, bro. We're back. Coming back from the bye. Strong win against the Texans. I mean, what were we expecting, really?
The game was over at halftime. Literally over at halftime. Nothing of significance happened in the second half. I mean, the Texans got a couple points on the board. Skylar Thompson went in like halfway through the third quarter. There was just nothing in the second half. Everything was in the first two quarters, and the Dolphins dominated. They got points on defense. Tua obviously had another turnover-free game. Offense was firing. Jeff Wilson had a touchdown again. Everything went well for the Dolphins in the first half, to the point where they just coasted the rest of the game.
Just solid win, you know, like you said, dominance on defense in certain points, good offense also, so just a solid win, nothing really more to it.
Yeah, I mean, Tua played, one drive in the third season, and then Mike was like, all right, that's enough of you. Let's put in Skylar Thompson.
He kept getting hit. That
was the thing.
I didn't want Tua to play the second half. I really didn't see any reason to bring him out. I get why, but come on, man. You saw how he almost got folded at the end of the second quarter?
It was all because Tyron Austin got injured. You know, once he got off the field, it was like, all right, sack season for the Texans, all right? And that's really big, you know, moving on to for the future of the Miami Dolphins offensive line.
Tyron Austin's going to be missing some time, and we're going to be facing some pretty scary defenses, so that's not good for us. But apparently it's just a pec strain. Mike McDaniels expects him to be back at some point before the end of the season, which is not long left. So assuming we get into the playoffs, he should be fine by then.
Yeah, I thought I read that he could even be back as soon as next week. So that's always good, because you never know with pec injuries. If he tore a pec, he could be out for a whole year. So it's good to see that he's going to be back soon. But yeah, it was a little bit annoying to see how much Tua was getting hit. He made some good he stepped up in the pocket, made some good moves too, but at the end of the day, the pass rush got to him and hit him a few times. One good thing though was our pass rush in this game. I think Bradley Chubb watched last episode when I talked bad about him. Finally got a sack, and then Xavier Howard also had a big play after I talked about it.
My guy, Xavier Howard.
So they
2 touchdowns for the big X-Man, baby, this season.
Finally, about time. Where has he been, man?
Yo, he's been there, bro. He's just been waiting.
He's definitely been there, just not doing a whole lot. But yeah, the Dolphins' defense was suffocating, especially on Allen, forcing him to make bad decisions.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah. That was his first start since 2020 was it, or sometime last season?
Yeah, sometime last season.
Yeah, really long time since he's been on the field starting a game, and I felt bad. It was a tough game to throw him into. But the Dolphins, I feel like, despite jumping out to that big lead, lacked a little sharpness. Which is expected, I guess, if you're coming off a bye. But, you know, I think if you're going to have a game like that, it's best to have it against probably the worst team in the league. When you're playing at home, coming off a bye, heading into the toughest 3-game stretch of the season, where we expect this team to make the playoffs at this point. 8-3, 11 games in. This is their best 11-game start in, 20 years now? I think it actually is in 20 years. We expect them to make a playoff push at this point, but these next 3 games are really going to show whether or not this team is ready to compete against the best teams in the AFC. And
stay #1 in their division, because we do want that chance to prove to the NFL that, you know, we're here and we're here to not just play, but we're here for real.
Not only that, but to host a home playoff game. It's been 14 years since the last time the Dolphins did that. It'll have been 15 by the time the playoffs come around. So big opportunities for the Dolphins coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get that bye week.
That too.
Yeah, that would be good.
Going into the playoffs.
I don't think we'll get there. The Chiefs are looking really scary, but it would be amazing to have a bye week. One thing I saw today is if the playoffs were to start today, we would be playing the Jets, which would be such a fun game.
Yeah,
but of course, there's going to be a million.
That rematch.
Yeah, we need to see them again, but
Who knows? Aren't they our last game of the season?
Yeah.
They are the last game.
Yeah.
So I think obviously things are gonna change, the seeding and stuff. So, but it's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Jets, Mike White, bro, coming in for Zach Wilson after he was maybe questionable against the Patriots that one game.
More than questionable.
More than questionable, not taking no accountability. Mike White just said, you know what, step aside, kid. I got you.
I will say about Zach Wilson, not to steer too much off the Dolphins, but I feel like him getting benched was more of a
message.
He was bad. Don't get me wrong against the Patriots, but
it was his attitude.
Him coming out and saying that he didn't let the defense down. Like, what type of message is that to your team?
You scored 3 points?
Yeah.
3 points a whole game, all 4 quarters. All you got is a field goal.
Yeah. Like,
bro. And then you got to be like, nah, it wasn't my fault. That's crazy.
What kind of message is that to your team as a starting quarterback and leader of the team? I feel like that was a nail in the coffin for him getting benched. And I'll say the Jets still looking solid.
Good move by the coach.
Yeah.
You know?
Jets still looking okay. Definitely putting some pressure on us, and the Bills obviously right down our necks in the division. So, like I said, these next 3 weeks are going to be huge in terms of keeping that lead and just to keep form.
Starting with next week, we play the 49ers. Arguably have the best defense in the entire league. Yep. You know, it's also Coach Mike McDaniels, they're calling
Former team.
They're calling the Dolphins the Miami 49ers because we're basically taking their whole roster. So, it's a lot of equal minds. Mike McDaniels knows how the 49ers play after being an assistant for 5 years. Yeah. They know how Mike McDaniel will play. So it's just a battle of, I think it's going to come down to a battle of raw talent.
Yeah, I think so too. I was saying earlier this season that if there was any game on the schedule that looks like a loss, it would have been this one, other than the Bills one. This game is dangerous for the Dolphins, to say the least. We're coming up playing away in San Francisco against a pretty good team, against an offense that's been playing also pretty solid. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't expected to be anywhere near this team at this point last season. Got benched at the beginning of the year for Trey Lance, who was forced to be the starting quarterback, and all of a sudden, everybody's starting to rally around him. 49ers players saying that he's better than Tua. Like, Deebo Samuel didn't ask for a trade before the season started. There's a lot of talk from both sides going into the game. So it's going to be the shootout, I think. It's definitely going to come down to the last couple plays.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that they won last week 13-0. So their offense didn't put up a lot of points, but
the
defense is definitely up there. So that's going to be one thing we got to keep in mind, just because also, like you said, Teron Armstead's going to probably miss this game. So got to make sure Tua is safe with Bosa on the other side, a few other playmakers. So
like we were saying, a couple weeks ago, that the Dolphins will play down to their opponents, but they will also play up to anyone that they feel like would challenge them or rival them, because we have beaten teams that we were supposed to lose to. The Ravens, we were supposed to lose to the Bills, right? So the Dolphins, not only can they, I feel like they're a very adaptable team. They'll play to whoever they're facing against. So not only will we play down, but we will also play up.
But you see, even last week coming off a bye, I don't think we played down to the Texans at all. I mean, obviously the second half.
They heard what I said.
In my article that I wrote.
In the article.
I don't even know if it got published, but
weekly writing plug.
Oh no,
I wrote that this is now the second straight game where they're not playing down to their opponents. The Browns was a good large margin win, and then this is another example. So hopefully, let's say we get a big lead in this game, we just run away with it. Don't give the 49ers any chance to come back, because Garoppolo, he's not one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's serviceable. He
gets the job done.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of playmakers on the offensive side.
Deebo Samuel, and now they have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
Yeah.
And we struggled with the run defense for a couple of games. Not the past two, but
Definitely been a lot better over the last 2 games.
But I think Kittle and McCaffrey could be something that we got to worry about, just because our linebackers aren't the best in coverage. Of course, we have Holland to kind of help out, but just Kittle's a different animal.
Don't worry, my guy Xavier Howard locking down Kittle, Deebo, anyone you put him up against, my guy X-Man will cover, bro.
I don't know.
Anybody? Anybody can cook him. Nah, I'm joking. I hope he actually plays well. I love Xavier Howard, but I'm not gonna shy away from criticizing him when he's been this bad this year. But we said already, they have a lot of dangerous players, especially skill position players. Obviously, we know Jimmy Garoppolo. I think maybe he's a little overhated, but still gets the job done. And if he gets the ball to his skill position players, it could be dangerous, especially with the Dolphins missing Teron Armstead on the offensive line. Like you guys already said, it's going to be dangerous for Tua. We already know there's a bad history with Tua against really good defensive ends, but let's just hope that the offensive line can hold up. Tua's elusive, he's sharp, and the receivers are sharp as well. I think the Dolphins could potentially come away with something from this game.
They've never looked better. So if we ever had a chance of, this I think would be like the truest test that we've ever had, because now that we're not completely 100% healthy, I mean, we're like the healthiest on that side of the scale that we've ever been. So if we could ever play a good team without, they were saying for the Bills, we had the Miami Heat, like the Sun, that's why we won. There's always an excuse. Here, there should not be an excuse. Either we're good enough to beat them or not good enough to beat them. So if this would be like the truest test that the Dolphins ever had. Coming in, going to this game. Yeah,
and playing, like I've already been talking about, these next three games, 3 playoff-bound opponents. So huge test. But I don't know if you guys want to get into predictions or if you have anything more on the 49ers side.
I think we get into predictions.
Just one more thing.
No?
Just like you guys were mentioning briefly earlier, all the storylines that are kind of surrounding this game, I think it's going to be very, very chippy. Just because, like you said, Debo and Raheem have been going back and forth. Jeff Wilson's also made comments. Mike McDaniel's made comments. So I think before the game, there could still be even more talk from both sides. So it kind of, for me, I get excited seeing things like that. But hopefully no fights and anything like that. Just good, solid game. These are 2 good teams. So
I do want to see how the Dolphins respond to that, though, because I feel like they haven't seen a game or a team like that all season. I mean, maybe the Bills and the whole Josh Allen, Christian Wilkins thing. But I would love to see how they respond to that. Tua especially seems a whole different person this season, really confident in himself and in the rest of the team. The team seems confident in him, so I want to see how they respond to something like that. But getting into predictions now.
All right,
lead us off, Big Guapo.
All right. I think it's going to either come down, it's going to be a really defensive game or a really offensive game. All right, I don't think anyone is going to outbalance each other. So if it's a really defensive game, obviously it's not going to be high scoring. But I think the offenses are capable enough to make it, a very entertaining game throughout all 4 quarters. So I'm predicting, hopefully, a Dolphins win. I feel like we can get there with the 49ers. Not by much, though. I feel like we maybe 27-30. It's going to be by like the margin.
I'm picking a similar scoreline, but much lower scoring just because I think the Dolphins are going to get away with this one. They're going to come away with a win in my opinion, but like you said, I think it's going to be more defensive. I don't think the offenses are going to be shooting like that because of how aggressive both defenses are. They're going to hold the offenses at bay. I think the Dolphins just have a little more, just slightly more than the 49ers do because of the quarterback position. In terms of skill position players, they have a load of talent on that side. The Dolphins do as well, but I just think when it comes down to it, Tua is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think I'm going to say 17-14 Dolphins.
Okay. So, right now, I was just looking up. The 49ers are actually favored by 4 points in this game, which is interesting to me. I think the Dolphins are kind of remind me of, like, the Celtics this year, just like a team that keeps on winning, so I don't know why they're favored in this game. But I can kind of see it. The 49ers are a really strong team, top of the NFC West right now, so I think I'm going to go with the 49ers in this game.
Oof, the truth has spoken.
Yeah, the truth. We'll see if I can say that's my nickname next week. But I'll go 24-21. Close game.
Disgusts me, bro. Picks the 49ers to win and plugs the Celtics every single week, bro.
To Jason Tatum,
Jesus, bro. All right, there's gonna be beef after this show. But that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Phin, the #1 show for the Miami Dolphins here at FAU. It's your boy, Sam Big Guapo Rodriguez.
I'm the leader of Two and On.
And it's your boy Ant the Truth for one more week at least. We'll see you guys.
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.